for taking some time out of your busy schedules to speak to me and the nerds of color about Superhero Diaries. But before we begin, could we just go around? Please tell me who you are and what you do on Superhero Diaries. Scott, we can start with you. We'll go around.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Put you on the spot.
No. Okay, so I am director, producer, and scenarist. I'm playing with that scenarioist because it's I come in with lines, but then it's the actors who really wrote this stuff. I mean, I just wouldn't put that on tape. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, so I write, director, I guess creator, and I am very good at casting.
What's up? I'm Jaquis Neal, and I'm taking the mantle of Miles Morales, Spider-Man, on this project. So it's been pretty dope. And Scott is a great cast. Everybody he cast was dope. So it was a pleasure.
We do have a great cast, right?
Hi, my name is Horecee St, Cyr, and I play the role of Catwoman on the Superhero Diaries.
There have been people who said that they think that she's the real Catwoman. That all these people are posers.
Yeah, it's canon. It's canon. Stan Horecee, absolutely. Again, thanks, y'all. Superhero Diaries is a hoot. It's great. I was Jaquis, I gotta let you know, I was Miles Morales. I think the last like 3 or 4 Halloween. So I might be coming. I might be coming for your role, bro.
So you
got a good voice.
You do. You got a great voice. Listen, I think that anybody can wear the mask. Isn't that what they say? So listen, yeah. We can share it.
Listen, I love. I think that's what I love the most about Spider-Man now. What what Spider-Man means now to folks is anyone can don the mask, and it's such a beautiful message to send to, especially kids growing up in today's day and age where there's a lot going on. But to get to see yourself in that heroic position is just inspirational. How has the year been for y'all? Horecee, we could start with you. I mean, just flat out, I try to make it a point to ask my guests how the year's going. How are you feeling? Yes, the last year was a hot mess, but hopefully this year is better.
Honestly, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. Coming off of last year, like you said, everyone had all these emotions about not just about their lives, but also about work, especially when in terms of entertainment, approaching it. How are we going to get back out there? And so this year has been a little bit of a whirlwind because I've been able to be a part of such great projects like Superhero Diaries and meet the rest of the cast and work with Scott and, just kind of be lost in this world, which is such a blessing. But then in the backdrop of everything else that is still going on with COVID-19. So, it kind of, in a lot of ways, creates this roller coaster of emotions. But, we are finding gratitude in the midst of it all.
And, she was one of the actors who, or early on, we haven't met her until we did this last shoot. She was basically the way a lot of these actors had to do, including Jaquis, is set up their own green screens, put their own cameras up, figure out the sound, and then we have to film them and put that together. And that's what you do when you still want to produce and you're in a pandemic.
I appreciate that bit about production because I did want to ask about that a little later. But thank you for the reminder. I was like, I don't want these important questions to slip through the cracks. But how's the year been for you, Jaquis?
Yeah, man. The year has been it's been wild. The year's been wild. Professionally, things are going great, which is so it's been a weird year where, very cool things happen professionally for yourself in the midst of a lot of personal things throughout the entire globe and stuff like that. So it's been a very interesting balance to find, still being happy for the things that are your wins, so to say, in the midst of a lot of loss that we have dealt with in many ways, life, our norm and all types of stuff. And but things are bouncing back. I'm loving everybody's glow ups. And this has been such a fun project to be a part of. Like Scott said, it was we were doing a lot of green screen computer stuff, and I know a lot of people working are saying, man, I want to stay at home and work. And we're all like, we want to go into the studio and work. So it's been pretty cool to be able to get introduced back into the life of entertainment, actually working with people, and everybody's been super excited. So it's been a wild year, but it's on the up and up.
I know that's been the running trend is trying to balance the very real chaos
Yeah.
with also the like successes and the victories that you've been taking up along the way, and striking that balance, as you mentioned, could be challenging, but to have folks like each other around, I think helps. Scott, what about you? How's the year been for you?
It's been a lot of this, honestly. It's been we did a podcast. Actually, Jaquis has been on like my last three projects. One was we just needed somebody to pick up, called his agent and said, "This is great, guy's great. You got him in." I'm like, there's no way I can settle for that. So we hired him in an episode of our show Rideshare, and then we got him for this. And so if things go, I guess Jaquis and I have to, go away together.
Yes, we got to go away together, man, to Hawaii.
I'm waiting for you to cast me. So
before I get into the questions I have for Horecee and Jaquis about production, Scott, I wanted to ask you, how did Superhero Diaries come into being? I know there is this love and passion for the superhero genre that's really been on the up and up, like the last 10 years. But how did this series come together for you?
So my history was doing a lot of comic book projects. I did web series and things like that, a lot of personal comedy kind of outrageousness. And at the same time, I did a movie called Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels with Stan and Kevin. I did a movie called Comic Book the Movie with Mark Hamill and every other icon you can think of, because we showed it at the convention. And I started to get more and more. I was working with Shatner, and more and more I was falling deeper into this comic book world. And then Stan and I worked several times. Not as much as actually, I've worked with Stan Lee more than I have with you, Jaquis. But you stopped.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll catch up. But so ultimately what I did was I pulled together those two things that I make. I put together superheroes in parody form and the outrageousness and fun of the little comedy shorts. And now I'm like, okay, it's kind of the same stuff, but now they're wearing, they're dressed as superheroes, of course, except for Horecee, who was dressed as a super villain.
Mm.
Do you know the first time Horecee acted on the green screen, though? The person she was acting against was in Texas. And she's in... So literally, they never met. They finally met recently. We did a live shoot, but there they were trying to hear each other and act with each other, and yet they get there and it plays. It's better to have a DP, a real set, real people who can touch each other and hug. And in Horecee's case, with Captain America, do a little more.
I think, though, considering the times that we're in, it's a perfect marriage between what is possible and what is accessible, and thinking about the resources you have access to. Right. And that leads me to the question about production. Horecee, what was it like to be in this situation where the medium you're so used to interacting with is being captured in a totally different? I mean, the set is different. Your bathroom is like around the corner. You know what I mean? So what is that process like?
So stressful, harrowing, honestly, because, as an actor, we love to get lost in the world of how can I create and what can I do and all these things and just the art of it. But the truth is, when you're faced with all these production requests, which we have to do because of the nature of what's happening in the world, you have to kind of rise to that occasion. And handling audio and voice and a green screen and your own makeup and 4-inch heels and a leather catsuit was not for the faint at heart.
I didn't wear the leather catsuit she insisted.
Next time, Scott. Next time we'll have to trade outfits, please. Yeah, but I will say, after you do that, there is nothing you feel like you can't conquer. You're like, oh, now I can just show up and do the best work that I could ever do. Great. Of course I can do that. It's fine. So.
The first time we were outside together was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It speaks to the new skills and talents this pandemic is forcing a lot of creators like yourselves to learn, right? Sort of the little victories you can take from such a trying time. Jaquis, what was it like for you? I assume this was also a new space, a new sort of production space. And what was it like navigating that?
Yeah, it's been I mean, a lot of the same stuff Horecee is saying. Listen, I grew up in the theater world, so transitioning from theater world to film, and on camera work, uh, you really understand how we as actors are very much the smallest part of the process. And
At
you
least
know,
time, maybe.
you said the what, the least what?
At least time,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
But
no,
I don't want to. I don't want to like anything anymore. I don't want to. That's it's not what I want to do. And because it's hard, it's
it is
much
hard.
easier for me to just show up and read my lines and throw myself into something and then like sit back and.
No.
So I think the appreciation for production, I've had a production company. I did a web series myself, so I realized the work. But I think a lot of entertainers, especially on the actor side this year, especially have gotten a chance to see just how much work goes into a production. A lot of cursing out, reading stuff like we need you to do this and this, and you're like, man, I'm only one person. So you get it. You start to understand and you start to get it. And I think that's been to try to take a positive from that has been a really cool thing, that as we go back to doing a lot more things in person, that I think you're going to see a lot more
Luxury.
appreciation and a
Yeah.
lot more collaboration in a way that we had in the past, but I think it's going to grow coming up.
And I think it expands your toolkit as creators,
Yeah.
as artists. You wouldn't have been in this position, or you would, not likely to have been in this position if it hadn't been thrust upon you. And you're shouldering it incredibly. So I think it's really awesome, Scott. This series, I know it's working under the strains of the pandemic, but what does it look like coming out of
The pandemic.
hopefully coming out of this
On Wednesday
trying period?
So on Wednesday, you will see, boom, they're at a completely different place. They're together. So I'll tell you, I learned a ton from doing this kind of stuff in the pandemic. You learn, in terms of not overdoing things. You take, sometimes parameters gives you more to work with. So that was great. Now I'm ready to take the freaking parameters off. Get these guys swinging off walls, literally, because that's what Spider-Man does. And I guess there would probably be a metaphor for cats, but I can't think of one right now. That's what cats. So yeah, there we go. On the hot tin roof.
or doing the man, I there was a clip going around with Catwoman, decapitating the mannequin on the first take. I forgot which film it was, but it was like classic. I know I'm gonna get killed for it, but I'm sorry. Yes. Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman.
Batman Returns.
Thank you for saving me, Jaquis and Scott, because I would get killed for this. I'm a Spider-Man guy, not a Batman guy. I'm so sorry, y'all. But I guess one of the last things I wanted to ask is a bit of a like a wild card question. You have your character that you're currently portraying. Who would you sort of love to portray on the big screen? I would love to be Black Panther if I hit the gym, for several several months. But yeah, exactly.
It's pretty cool. I'm 34 years old, so my time, for being a superhero is starting to dwindle down.
Robert
so
Downey Jr. is 55.
Well, yeah, like or maybe a super villain at the very least. But I think one of my, as far as somebody who's on camera in the world, I would love to play someone in the X-Men universe. I just think they're very fun. I love mutant powered people, or that lore of the comic book world. So listen, if I can get my Hugh Jackman on, and they want, the black hair as the Wolverine, we can figure that out. Maybe I'll get a little Wolverine action there so I can curse a
A
little
little
bit.
typecasting, sure.
Yeah. So that I think.
Although Wolverine, as we all know, is only supposed to be like 5'2".
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
mean, that's closer to me than Hugh Jackman is. So,
and X-Men is growing in popularity, like even more and more. The hunger for it is there. So who knows? I mean, we'll see you up there one day. Horecee, what about you?
Okay, you guys are gonna think that I am cheating. I'll give you two answers. My real answer really is Catwoman. Like it, Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns has been a muse since I was whatever age I was when that came out. Like my dad and I would watch Batman the animated series, and it has been so playing this. If I have not told you publicly, thank you for the opportunity to live out my girlhood dreams. And I would, of course, love to do it on the big screen. But another answer that's not so easy is Bane. I would love, you talk about I would love to be like a female super villain Bane.
yeah.
Like,
You always seem to have a lot of, talk about how strong you are. I've noticed that before. You talk about how you can take that man in a fight.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Break his back. Yeah.
Hey DC, if y'all are listening, DC, come on now. This is writing
Wait.
itself at this point. Come on.
Yeah, right itself.
Marvel and DC, what are you doing?
If we could pick supervillains, I know this is also pretty cheap because this is like the one that everybody knows right now, but I loved Thanos. And not just because I loved his like Shakespearean, um, basically his Shakespearean like acting prowess in that film. And I told you I come from the stage world. So a character like that where you can't really disagree with what they're saying because they're not the villain in their own story. They're the hero of their own story. And I think when villains are rooted in that, it makes for such good television or film. So Thanos, if I had a choice, man, I'm blipping half the world. So
Jamal, I'm going to play Lex Luthor, but I want to be directing the Superman movie, and I want to do it for a real price instead of this insanity.
Yeah.
That Marvel and DC when they watch and listen to this, y'all remember me when you get your phone calls. I'm begging you, please.
Remember us when you get yours.
I appreciate it. For me, I'd probably be I'd probably pick Deadpool if I wasn't picking like a completely good guy or a good person. I couldn't come up with a villain because I'm just like I want to do nice things. I don't know, but Deadpool would I feel help me tap into that side that I probably try to suppress because I want to be a good guy. But Deadpool, I think that Deadpool speaks to a lot of folks. Scott, Horecee, Jaquis, I appreciate y'all's time so much. I appreciate this series. I'm incredibly excited to see more. I can't wait to see the work that you have coming out. I just wanted to go around real quick. Scott, how can folks follow you or keep in touch with you or catch more of your work online?
Right. So the good news is type in Superhero Diaries, takes you right to the YouTube page. We do have everything else. We have, active TikTok and Twitter, not super active, but for me, the best place to relate to me is on YouTube because I understand that the best. That's where I have my homework.
Awesome. Horecee, what about you?
Hi, you guys can find me at Instagram, Twitter at St. Cyrly, STCYRLY.
Jaquis, what about you?
Yeah, I try to make it as easy as possible at Jaquis Neal on everything. So yeah, find me there, see what I'm doing. We'll rock and roll.
I only just took up like a better Twitter handle. I had like this weird, strange name, and I'm like, first of all, I can't put Jamal because everybody's named Jamal, and I'm kind of in I'm kind of a tough spot. So I had to
I'm
add
gonna
like
change my name right after this call.
I literally was thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe I should. Well, St. Cyr is my last name, but I'm like, maybe I should have my whole name like Jaquis.
Nah, St. Cyr is that's
it's
perfect.
distinct. You type it, it's gonna come up.
It is.
Yeah.
I put Jamal. You got to get to page like 15 to find me. Listen, y'all. Thank you so much for your time. I'm super excited for the series. I can't.
This is my character, by the way. Hey there, Jamal. What's going on, man?
I appreciate the shout out. And I definitely anticipate we'll talk again in the future about the work y'all do.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.